the sounds of greatness.
Ooh, killer, killer.
You are now listening to the sounds of greatness.
Ooh, killer, killer.
You are now listening to the sounds of greatness.
Ooh, killer, killer.
You are now listening to the sounds of greatness.
Ooh, killer, killer.
What?
Apalachee High School. Police then responded to those calls,
What's going on,
and we've
everybody?
gotten
Cannon
this
Hotep back
statement
at it
from the Barrow
again.
County
Unfortunately,
Sheriff's Department as we take a look at these
there's
live
another
pictures.
shooting
Parents walking to the campus of Apalachee High
in
School to
Apalachee
be
High School
reunited.
in Georgia.
They're praying with
It's
their
election season.
children.
Get low.
That
It's
at
election
approximately
season. Get low,
10:23,
people.
officers from multiple law
Oh my
enforcement
goodness
agencies
gracious,
and fire
man.
EMS personnel were dispatched to
I
the high
swear, yo,
school
they
in
can't catch a
reference
break
to a
during election
reported
season, right?
active shooting.
Can't catch a break.
One suspect is in custody,
Mm-mm.
and
So
casualties
I came
have
back a little
been
bit.
reported.
So they got one
Details on
suspect
the
in
number
custody.
or their conditions
They saying it
is
was
not
at least
available
6
at this time.
ambulances that have left the
Again, this is
school.
video.
One
These are
person
not
was
live
medevac from
pictures.
the school.
This is video that we've been
Like I said,
gathering
it's
over the
election
last
season, guys.
90
Get
minutes
low,
or so
get
since
low.
we first went on
I
the
just
air
want to
with
report
this,
on it as it comes
showing the
through.
scene,
Again, I just want to
which at
report on it
various
as it comes
times has
along.
been
What's going on?
active
What's going on, guys?
or I don't want to say
So
inactive because obviously there's a lot going on there.
I appreciate
But
y'all jumping in. I was
you
trying
see
to
the
go
Harvey
live
law
on Kick, but
enforcement
apparently
sort of walking
StreamYard doesn't
around
allow
without
Kick to
the sense of
stream.
urgency
I
that
put the
you would
stream key and
expect
everything in for Kick
if there was
on
an
StreamYard,
active
not working.
shooter still
So we'll
at
go
large.
live on Kick later on
And when we
tonight.
say that there's one person in custody,
What's up, Jay? What's
we
going
don't
on,
know whether or not
YV?
there are
What's going
any
on,
other
Jay's World? What's up, guys?
suspects that they're looking for. So
So we
again,
don't
a
have
lot
any
of information
information
we
yet.
don't know. A
We
lot
don't
of rumors
we don't know what
flying
weapon
around
was
on social
used. We
media.
don't know if
We're
there
going to
was
stick
more
to
than
the
one gunman.
facts
They had
and
one
report
person in
back to
custody, but
you
we don't know
as
if
we
there was
take a
more
look
than
at
one
these pictures.
gunman.
Again, video
Um,
from moments ago, not live, of that law
so
enforcement officer who is armed
yeah.
walking towards the building. Some
Now
of the
we're waiting
other
on like some kind of
law
news brief
enforcement
to come
vehicles that
along
are
to let us
above
know
us.
what's
As
exactly
far as that
going
one
on.
suspect who is in custody right now, we have not been given any information about that person as well. So we don't know whether that is a man, a woman, whether that was a student, whether that was a random person who made their way onto the school. There have been zero confirmed reports from law enforcement as to who the suspect is. Same story for the victims. No confirmed reports of who the victims are as of 12:41 right now. But Chelsea, we want to get back to you because you are the only person right now who is standing anywhere near parents seem to be able to get close enough to the school to find their children. We know you've talked to multiple parents or grandparents
So
of students at the school.
I mean, this is
Can you
just
tell us what
water
you've
through
heard?
chaos, guys. I mean, I hate to say it, but we see it all the time, right? Every time there's an election season, I'm gonna go pause this right now. So
These are actually some other
they're not
media
really
outlets and
saying
news
much
crews
right now. So every time it's election season, we get some tragedy like this. Every time it's an election season. Right now, we in the home stretch of for the 2024 election, and here we go. Here we go. We have another mass casualty event. Um, again, we don't know how many casualties, but from what I've been hearing and reading, there are at least 6 ambulances left. One person was medevaced out of here, or out of the school, um, and they've caught one gunman. But the thing is, we don't know if there's another gunman, and we'll probably never know. You know how it goes. There's always a lone gunman. It's always a lone gunman acting alone. Um, we'll probably get some, I don't know, manifesto out of this. It's kind of interesting to me because this happens today, but yesterday I'm looking at the news, or some news articles, and they were talking about the shooter, the trans shooter. I forgot where was the trans shooter at. They were talking about that yesterday. That was I guess something came out of the diary or something like that. And then today we have this issue here at Apalachee High School in Georgia. I reach out to protocol to see if he can get some information for me that the news may not have, um, so we can get this information out to you. But guys, this is a sad state of affairs. This is always a sad state of affairs. First off, prayers going out to the families and the victims. You know, hopefully they get justice, they find peace. We don't know if there are any deceased. We don't know if there are any deceased yet. But it's man, I don't know. I'm tired of seeing these stories, guys. I'm tired of seeing these stories. It's always during an election season. It's always politicized, and you can't help to think because it's during an election season. If this shit is just made up, if shit just made. I'm not saying made up like nobody died. I'm not saying nobody died. I'm not saying nobody got hurt. I'm not saying there wasn't a shooter. I'm saying that these things are manufactured to happen, to push an agenda. These things are manufactured to happen to push an agenda. You know, because we know the gun grabbers are trying to get back in office. We know Kamala Harris talking about through executive order, she's going to ban all the guns. You know what I mean? And what I tell you guys before, they need to give her a win. They need to give her a win. They need to give her something that's going to boost her in the polls for election season. And what better way to boost her in the polls, guys, is for something like this. What better way to boost her in the polls is for something like this to happen? What kind of flag is that? It's the American flag, and what's the other flag for that? Is that the Georgia state flag? But this shit is sad, man, and it's heartbreaking. These kids are just going back to school from spring break, I mean, from summer vacation. You know what I mean? Some of these kids, you know, fresh in high school. Some of these kids are graduating, and then for this to happen, whether this was some person acting alone, which you know how I do, goofy and tight, I find it hard to believe that somebody was acting alone. Um, or this person was a Manchurian candidate put up to this. Um, this is going to get politicized. They're going to use this to take the guns. They're going to use this to boost Kamala Harris's political capital because they're going to put her all over the story, especially if the gun is the gun that they like to demonize. Especially if this is the gun that they like to demonize. This is really interesting to me, guys. I mean, yeah, evil ways for the politicians. You know, this is I feel for these kids, man. I feel for these kids. Now it's not a lot of information out right now about what's going on. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to the news brief right now and see what we come up with.
The state-approved school safety and anti-gang program
One in
trained
the chat if it's
teachers
loud enough.
want to volunteer to identify potential gang activity. According to Everytown for Gun Safety, unfortunately, as we all know, this is not the first gun incident in Georgia or United States in general. According to national numbers, so far this year, there have been 133 gun-related incidents so far this year. 38 of those resulted in fatalities, 81 injuries. Again, we're not talking about specifically Georgia. This incident, we're talking about national numbers nationwide so far this year. We don't know whether there were any metal detectors in place at this school, but we do know, according to the student code of conduct that we reviewed, that the school's conduct does have the ability, the school does have the ability to use handheld metal detectors if they suspect a student or someone else at the school may be carrying a weapon. So just some added perspective as we're looking at these images, that you are looking likely at an action plan in place that the school and local law enforcement have been working on for years, especially since the school and the state implemented that new law last year requiring active shooter drills at least once a year. Those drills are required to be conducted at least by October 1st, guys.
Andy, we appreciate that context. As we take a look at this video from earlier, these are not live pictures from the scene. This is video that we've gotten over the last hour and a half or so. One of our reporters who's there at the school in front of Apalachee High is Adam Murphy. Adam, fill us in. What are you seeing now?
All right, Rick. So we actually moved to a new location. We're actually on the front lawn area of Apalachee High School. You can see the law enforcement vehicle.
I'm gonna get us up to speed real quick.
You're looking directly at. We moved into this area because we have been told by law enforcement that this is where they will gather and hold.
That's something that's required in that new law that went into effect last year. The creation of a
many are just choosing to make that mile walk to get as close as they can.
We'll listen with you.
All right, let's see what they got to say.
Two minutes.
All right, so that is a 2-minute warning. That is just so that the media can get itself ready for this news conference. And you can see there, I'm not sure exactly who that is. I'm going to guess it's the Barrow County Sheriff, but I don't want to I don't want to assume
misidentify him. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you can see GBI on scene. We know FBI Atlanta is on scene. Multiple law enforcement agencies on scene.
There was a shooting in
Gosh, you
HEB.
can
Are you serious
hear
in
our
Texas
voices
today?
break in just a bit. Again, we have confirmed via CBS News,
Can you hear the mic?
2 people have died.
One,
At
two,
least
three,
4
4, 5, 4,
people
3, 2,
are
1.
injured. We watched live with you as one person was airlifted to Grady Memorial Hospital. We saw ambulances rushing away from the scene. We were told they were going to area hospitals. And again, we have
Judge Smith. I'm the sheriff of Bear County Sheriff's Office. We're standing on the campus of Apalachee High School here at Bear County Schools. First and foremost, I want to lift up our community. I want to give our sympathies to our community, our school system, our kids, our parents that had to witness this today. Obviously, what you see behind us is an evil thing today. At about 9:30 this morning, we received the first call that there was an active shooter on this campus. We're not releasing any information as far as injuries, but we have multiple injuries. This is a very, very fluid investigation. It's very early. And I have asked the assistance of the GBI and the agencies here behind me today, and there are multiple agencies that responded this morning to help us and help the sheriff's office. We do have a suspect in custody, and we are asking for your patience as the media to please let us get the facts that we need to make sure we get this right. Again, I've asked the GBI to help us, the sheriff's office, to help us along with this. I know this is not what you want to hear, but I'm not going to answer questions after this is over with. But I wanted to give you the respect and our community respect to let them know what was going on initially. We're in the process of reunifying our students with their parents. Obviously, that's chaotic, but we want to be respectful of them and their privacy as well. I want to thank the state, the federal agencies, the local agencies that showed up today. As you can see, the multiple EMS and fire from other agencies that responded today. Again, I ask that you lift up Bear County Schools, lift up Apalachee, lift up our agencies. This is going to take multiple days for us to get answers as to what happened and why this happened. But I wanted to give you a statement. It is our hope, in conjunction with these people behind us, that we can give you another statement around 4 o'clock, because I know you have to go back on the air. That is my hope. But I wanted to be fluid with you all, understanding that it's fluid as well with this investigation. I appreciate you being patient with us. Again, it's very active and is ever developing. Every minute is developing on what we're finding. So we're going to have releases from other schools. Again, we ask that you be patient with us. Please be patient with us. And hopefully I can give you more information or more better information if you will, this afternoon. Thank you all for coming out here. We'll be back shortly, okay?
Sheriff, it's been widely reported that people are dead. Is that true?
I'm not releasing any information. We have multiple injuries. I'm not releasing any information. Guys, I'm not going to answer any more questions this time, okay? Thank you.
You got the tap, like, don't
Thank you,
answer
Sheriff
no more
Judd
questions.
Smith.
I just want to let everyone know that
let's-
indicated right now, the priority right now is trying to get the students back with their families. We will be holding a news conference at 4 o'clock. If you're not already following us on Twitter, X, make sure you're following us. We'll be providing updates then. I know there are a lot of details, investigative details. You want more information. That is what the investigators are actively working on right now. You can add.
Yeah, so the idea will be to be back here at 4 o'clock, but keep an eye on our social media. If that changes, you'll know it. We'll be able to address, hopefully answer more questions for you, okay? Or be in a position.
Her eyes are ridiculously close
We
together.
just realized this was happening. Tell us how many people, what you know about that.
We're not in any kind of position. The sheriff's made his comments. We'll leave it at that. By 4 o'clock, we hope to have a better picture, a bigger, so you can better comprehend what's going on. Okay, we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, that was Georgia Bureau of Investigations. That was the Georgia Bureau of Investigation with the sheriff. Sheriff didn't give us anything. He just like, yo, it's a fluid investigation is ongoing. It's gonna take a while for us to give you some information. I understand them not saying how many kids are dead, how many kids are injured, because that's going to cause a panic to the parents or the loved ones of the people that were actually injured or who they haven't heard from. They still got to get these kids reunited with their they still got to get the kids reunited with their parents and their guardians. And the ones that are injured, they still have to probably notify the parents and the guardians of those children that are injured. So I can understand that. As far as the suspect's concerned, let them get the facts straight. Let them get the facts straight. I'm here to report it as it happens. Um, we know we got the Griff report coming on at 2 o'clock. Maybe HJ will cover it, maybe he won't. But again, the sheriff said that he doesn't have any more real information coming out until around 4 o'clock. The main takeaway from this thing, man, is that it's election season. And you have to acknowledge that every time we have an election season, whether it's the presidential election or the midterms, this is what happens. Happens all the time. Think about it. Sandy Hook in 2012. Right? Then we had Vegas. Right? They gave us George Floyd. You know what I mean? Parkland. You get what I'm saying. I sound a little muffled. Am I better? This is in Georgia, yo. This is in Winder, GA, or Winder, Georgia, Apalachee. Do I still sound muffled? Hopefully not. Hopefully I don't sound muffled. It's supposed to be a good mic that I have on this thing. Let me see. Let me see. Am I still muffled? Everything looks good on my end. Yeah, so this is in like a suburb of Georgia. They say it's like an hour outside of Atlanta, is what they're saying. It's an hour outside of Atlanta. What the hell going on here? Hold on, what's going on?
In Georgia, 5 fatalities, 17 injuries, 72 arrests. Again, this is from 2022 to so far in 2024, specifically in Georgia. Nationwide, the numbers are even greater, 575. Those are those numbers that I was just mentioning to you. Again, these numbers 2022 to 2024 so far this year. 5 fatalities, 17 started looking into, and a lot of people are probably thinking about as they're often this is happening. It seems like it's happening a lot. Well, here are the actual numbers that we pulled from an organization called Gun Violence Archive, which is an organization that tracks school-related gun incidents, mostly through media reports. And so far, or from 2022 to present, look at these numbers, 97 incidents, gun-related incidents, just in Georgia. 5 fatalities, 17 injuries, 72 arrests. Again, this is from 2022 to so far in 2024, specifically in Georgia. Nationwide, the numbers are even greater, 575. Those are those numbers that I was just mentioning.
Students with their parents, many of the parents we've talked about in the last hour since we've been broadcasting live out here, have arrived on scene, and they have been directed over to the football stadium,
One thing that I've noticed,
behind the school.
One thing that I've noticed is that usually when these happen as well, we got a lot of eyewitnesses. That are willing to tell their story. But so far, there's been nothing. There's been no eyewitnesses giving an account of what happened in there.
Held to this point, not allowed to go any further into what was, is being considered a crime scene. So we are at quite the distance. But victims,
because she couldn't get in touch with her son at that point. So this was just running towards the school just to get to their kids. She talked to a grandmother who said her 14-year-old grandson was very close to where the shooting happened. She said that grandmother was on her way. She said she talked to a woman who came up to her crying, asking if we knew the names of the victims because she couldn't get in touch with her son at that point. So this was
This is
just
why
a
you can't
terrifying morning. We have been
release it
on air with you all,
because
watching
of
as
that
this has
panicking people.
developed throughout the day since
Can't
this
let them
happened.
panic.
Again, they said they got the call about an active shooter at this Apalachee high school around 9:30 in the morning. It's 1:30 right now, and there are still parents who are there trying to get.
Tells me that his teacher immediately closed the door, locked the door, had them old student at the high school. He had just gotten picked up from the football stadium. He was with his mom. He was with his sister. They were all understandably shaken up by what happened, but he did walk us through what happened inside of the school. He says they heard the gunshots in the classroom. He tells me that his teacher immediately closed the door, locked the door, had them hunker down. They had no idea what was happening, but he says they immediately jumped into action to get into that lockdown position. I asked him what went through his mind during that time, and his main concern was, are his friends okay? Are his classmates okay? Because there were so little answers coming into the classroom. Of course, at that time when they were still on lockdown, he was concerned about his friends. He was concerned about his classmates. He said the gunshots sounded very close to the classroom that they were in. He tells me that, the entire time that they were in the football stadium waiting to get picked up and waiting to get any answers, they were sad. I mean, they were disturbed by what happened. And he says, you hear about this happening in other places. He never imagined that this would be happening at his school, that this would be happening, and that his classmates would have to go into a lockdown, that they would be experiencing an active shooting situation. He says it's something they've talked about in the classroom before, but never did he imagine that something like this would actually happen. He said
to Sheriff Judd Smith, the Barrow County Sheriff. He said it was an evil thing that happened at Apalachee High School today. And we're going to learn more about it throughout the afternoon, of course. But we do know that there is a suspect in custody. And so that then begs the question, where is that suspect right now?
Press briefing right outside the school. The sheriff's office wasn't able to say much. Again, we're told that they're going to have more information for us at 4 p.m. So hopefully they're able to fill in some key details here, namely about the suspect, who this person is, as Rick just mentioned, what relation they may have to the school, and the victims, how many victims there are, what were their injuries. We know one was airlifted to the hospital, to Grady Memorial, a level 1 trauma center. That means those injuries must have been pretty grave. We know others were taken via an ambulance to local area hospitals. Hopefully they're doing okay and their injuries are not as bad. What a horrific situation these students have been put through today. Again, they got the call, law enforcement first started getting the call about this active shooter at 9:30 in the morning. So can you imagine, some parents would have just dropped their kids off. These kids would have just started the school day when they started hearing gunshots ringing out around them. Yasmina said that she talked to a student who said that it sounded very close to where he was, that he was thankful to be out on that field in this heat, in the safety, when some of his fellow classmates were not so lucky. She said that all he could think about, this student, was, are my classmates okay? All these students were evacuated to this stadium and they had nothing. They had no details other than they were dropped off at school, gunshots are ringing out, and now this active shooter training that we've been forced to do is coming in handy. You never think this day is going to come, certainly not in your own community, certainly not in Barrow County. Everybody we've talked to out there has said they are astounded that this would happen in our community, in this tight-knit, close community.
Well, that's what everybody says when it happens in their community, that they never thought it could happen there. And now we have seen.
Exactly. They took the words out of my mouth. Think about it, right? It's always happened in these tight-knit small towns. Think about this, guys. Shit like this always happens in those tight-knit small towns. I wonder why. Like, think about it. Think about everyone that's been highly profiled. Where did it happen? it never really necessarily happens in a highly populated area. It's always in some little small little podunk town. I ain't gonna say it's a podunk town, but it's always a small little town where this happens. It's just stuff that just make you think, man.
And get the sound that we got from the mom that Chelsea was able to speak to as she was on her way to the school to collect her child. She had thankfully heard from her child, knew that her child was okay, but still that long walk for the reunion. She talked about being getting ready for work when she heard about this shooting, that she dropped everything and began driving towards the school. A lot of parents in their vehicles were only able to get so close. Some of them had to park as far as a mile away. But again, those parents then getting out of their cars and walking towards the school. You know, I could tell you, as a father of high school students, that that most of those
kids
kids
in that one high
either had cell phones
crazy.
or have friends who had cell phones.
Right.
So thankfully, you'd have to think that those parents knew that their children were okay on their way. It wasn't as though they were wondering if their child was all right. They were walking towards the student, knowing that there would be a reunion at that football field, thankfully. But still, what a traumatic and stressful situation for parents in Barrow County. And it's not just the high school that's impacted. There's a middle school across the street that was locked down as well. So you have all of the parents, all the families with students at the high school where the shooting took place. And then, of course, at the neighboring middle school where that school is in a lockdown situation and will remain in a lockdown situation, according to Yasmina, for some time, maybe at least another hour or so, that situation will remain in a lockdown.
Right. So here's what that parent had to say.
Is she okay to talk to her?
Yeah, I've talked to her. She's a little nervous. They're on the football field waiting on the parents to come get them. She's very nervous.
Did she hear the gunshot?
I don't know. She didn't tell me. She just called us and said, could you hurry up and come get us? There's an active shooter here. And my first thing was to make sure she was okay. Nobody was hurt. So that's my biggest concern.
When you heard there was an active shooter?
Yeah, my heart started beating. I was actually on my way to go to work. And then I just dropped everything and I just got in the car and I left. The traffic was so bad at the front. I was in the middle of the red light and people were blowing, but there was nothing I could do. So the main thing is to make sure these kids are okay. So
thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I'll tell you, Chelsea didn't have a lot of success talking to parents out there because they were running and walking as swiftly as they could to get to that stadium. For a while there, just the roads were blocked off for about at least an hour as we were live on the air. We saw as cars were pulling up and waiting in a long line that was stopped around the school, and they couldn't get any closer. So parents just got out the car and started running to get to their kids, to find out if their kids were one of these victims. So we do not have any victim information just yet. Want to make that clear. They could be staff, personnel, they could be students. That has not been confirmed just yet, but we have an eye on that. We are waiting for that information as we speak. And to your point, Rick, you know, a lot of parents were able to communicate with their kids, and that's what makes what one woman told Chelsea Vineforth so heartbreaking. She'd run up to her crying, asking Chelsea, our reporter, if she had any information about the victims, because she could not get in touch with her son, who she said was a senior here. So you can imagine this shooting happens. You are barricaded away from the school.
How about now? Is that better?
In touch with your kids. You believe there are victims. We now know there are victims, and all you have are questions. So that's why we've been live on air this whole time. We want to make sure you know if you have a loved one in this area, if you have a student, a staff member who works or attends or is ever near Apalachee High School. We wanted you to know what was happening there the moment it happened.
Want to say a word about law enforcement, because as we've been looking at this video that we have collected over the last couple of hours, we've seen a number of law enforcement from multiple agencies, as we've been saying, not just local, but state and federal law enforcement as well, wearing tactical gear, many of them armed. We saw a group of law enforcement officers walking to what looked like the front entryway of the building at one point early on. getting ready to enter into a building where they might not have known exactly what kind of threat they were going to face. And so the
700,
bravery on the
damn.
part of these
Yes.
first
Is my mic
responders,
better?
of these members of law
Testing,
enforcement that
testing.
put their own lives on the line
I turned off noise
in
cancellation
order
on the mic,
to
so
keep
it should
us
be better.
safe and
I
our loved
hope.
ones safe, it really just must be mentioned and should not go unnoticed. As we see these pictures again and the students, and you can only imagine what it was like for these kids and what it will be like for these kids
People interested in getting
who were
that
just starting a Wednesday
that Pulitzer,
morning
that
at
sweep
school
sweep.
when all of a sudden
Yeah,
an
no,
evil
you
thing
don't
happened,
try
in
to
the
stop
words
and
of
ask the
Sheriff
parents why they
Judd Smith
running
of
for their
Barrow County.
children.
An evil thing when someone came in, that person in custody, we're told, and that there are multiple injuries. CBS News reporting that 2 people have died. The sheriff telling us in the brief press conference a few moments ago that they want to make sure they get this right, and that right now the priority is reuniting students with parents, or that's, I'm sorry, one of the priorities
But it's definitely going to be in the
is
news cycle for a
reuniting
while.
parents and students, and that's
What's
a
up,
bit
nerd?
of a
We got Nerd
chaotic
Nash in the
situation,
building.
as you
What's the
can
deal?
imagine. 1,900 students enrolled in the school. That's what we've
somebody
been
in the
able to
chat, let me
find
know if my
out. And
mic better.
so
My mic sounding
that's a
better?
lot of kids and a lot of parents and loved ones who were trying to get them back together. And the sheriff asked that the media and.
But like I was saying, guys, I mean, they're going to run with this. This is going to be in the news cycle, especially. I still sound underwater? Oh my gosh, are you serious? I still sound like I'm underwater? Hold on. Let me go hear myself. Okay, it is. It sounds like shit. I wonder why this mic sound like this. Hold on. Is that better? And now is that better? That's the question. Is that better? I'm trying to get this stuff under. I'm trying to get it working right. This is a shitty man. Ah, boy. Anyway, y'all gotta deal with this one. God damn it. Y'all gotta deal with this one. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Cannon Hotep on Cash App, Super Chats, Rumble Rants. Help me get a new mic on the go. Help me get a new on the go mic. Help me get a new on the go mic. Alright? This one ain't cutting it, alright? Apparently y'all can't hear me all that great. So, just saying. Just saying. Because that's the best I can do on the audio. I got everything up. I got everything up. I can't do no better on that microphone, yo. Everything should be where it is, but it's got to be the mic. Anyway, let's see. Breaking news. It's probably nothing breaking. It's probably nothing breaking.
Victims there are. The sheriff says he is not releasing that information.
Okay. Yeah, so right now they just filling time. They're filling time. This is a big story in that area. This is the local news. That's why I went here. I wanted the local news because I figured the local news would get information before, CNN and all those other guys. So this is the story, guys. This is what's going on. There was a shooting reported around 9:30 a.m. in Apalachee High School in Winder, Georgia. There are multiple casualties. There's been at least 6 to 7 ambulances that have left the scene. One person has been medevaced. They haven't told us if there are any deaths. They just said it's multiple casualties. Multiple casualties. There's one person of interest in custody, but they don't know if there were other shooters that were in custody. Did we get demographics of the shooting already? Nope. No demographics yet. No demographics yet. These reporters acting shocked that police showed up wearing tactical gear. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I'll tell you. You know what? Let's do this. Let's see this. I'm gonna try something else. Let me. It's probably gonna sound better to you. Watch. Is that better? Is that better? Let's see what the settings say. Testing, testing, testing. Is that better? Hold on. Is that better? Y'all gotta deal with this mic. This is the best it's gonna get. This is the best the mic is gonna get. I'm sorry, guys. But like I said, y'all wanna donate to the cause? I'll get me a better mic. I will get me a better mic if this is that bad. If this shit is that bad, I will get me a better mic. I don't know what the hell going on in this commercial. Why did it even stop?
Then the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at We Say.
That was an AARP commercial? Oh, Lord have mercy.
Local News Live. We'll be right back.
Oh my gosh. But like I said, guys, they're just going to be talking in circles for a while. They don't have any real information right now until the sheriff gives them real information. One more time. Multiple casualties, at least 6 ambulances left the scene. They got, and one person was medevaced out of there. They have one person in custody. They don't know if there were multiple shooters, but they have one quote-unquote shooter in custody. This happened around 9:30 or 10 o'clock a.m. In Winder, Georgia at Apalachee High School. Active shooter situation, multiple people shot. Bruh. It's just it never fails. It never fails. Every time there's an election cycle, we get something tragic like this. It gets politicized, and the left always runs with it. Never let a good crisis go to waste, right? Ain't that what they say? Never let a good crisis go to waste, and they won't. They won't. Let this be a white boy or whatever with an AR or whatever weapon of war, that they use. This is going to be in the news cycle all week, for the rest of the week, probably into the weekend. Every town for gun safety is going to be involved. Moms Demand Action is going to be involved. It's going to be it's going to be a complete shit show. Cosney says spoons made me fat. That's funny. Van, is he? Yeah, this so Appalachia State. This is Apalachee, like Apalachee, different Appalachee. So, um, so be prepared, guys. Be prepared. We're going to get more information today at 4 o'clock. Allegedly, he said that he's going to try to get the information out today at 4 o'clock. Um, we'll see if that happens. Maybe we get the demographics of the quote unquote shooter. Maybe we get a weapon of the quote unquote shooter. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see though. I guess they ended their live stream. We'll see though. But right now there's no real information. I just want to bring this to you, let you guys hear some information, or hear what was out there. You're probably gonna see on the news or on social media, people gonna run, oh, it was this type of person or it's this person. You know how it goes. There's been a lot of misinformation happening on social media, right? It's been a lot of shit happening on social media where this will happen and they'll purposely put out misinformation. They'll put out the wrong face or the wrong name, or they'll put out just bad information, and people will take it and they'll run with it, and it further it gives the mainstream media more ammo to fight us with. So let's apply the rules. Let's give it 24 hours to breathe. If there's a press conference, we can play the press conference, let you hear what the press conference says. But let's not speculate on what this person is, who they look like, what they used, and all this other stuff. Let's let the facts come out, and then we'll go from there. You know what I mean? Let's just do that. Yeah, it's outside of Atlanta. He said looks like a majority white area, probably a kid that was bullied. My guess. I don't know. We'll find out when it comes out. So what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to speculate. I just want to give y'all that information, and then once better. Does my mic sound better now? Anyway, we'll get the information out as it comes out, and then once all the information come out, then we can try to piece together a motive and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to bring that to you because it was breaking news. How long until the FBI says that line? Oh, I give it tomorrow morning. That's just me. But replying to Barton, Bella, I give it to tomorrow morning. I need a mic I use for my phone. No, so this one was supposed to be a nice mic on the go, and it's not. So I'm gonna get me I'll get a Blue Yeti or something, something better than this. So, but I was using StreamYard because I was hoping that Kick could work on StreamYard, but it doesn't. So I gotta figure out why that doesn't work on StreamYard. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for y'all. It's 1:57. The Griff Report starts in less than 3 minutes. Head over to Kick, watch the Griff Report. Tell Hotep Jesus I sent you. And I'll see you guys tonight at 10:30 on YouTube, Kick, Rumble, and X. Canon, Hotep on Kick, Rumble, X, and YouTube. So anyway, till next time, it's Canon, Hotep saying be safe, stay strapped, don't miss, and don't worry about tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow got enough problems of its own. Worry about today. I'll let you.